Buildy here. I'm gonna do a walkie-talkie out the front side of the camera. Nice little village in near Kirch. I'll let you see me. Make sure it's not an imposter. That's important, you know. Anyway, I want to show you some things in this little village. We Americans grew up being inundated with just the most god-awful propaganda about the Soviet Union. Now, I'm not saying it was a workers' paradise or anything, but I think it was a little more strategically and carefully constructed than the U.S. was. The U.S. just boomed and ran great, and then billionaires got too powerful and bought the government, and now you got what you got now. And anybody that tries to dismantle any of it is a socialist. Socialism and capitalism are just two opposite poles of the same beast. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Socialism's a tool of capitalism. I'll tell you what happened here. It's very interesting. I know some English-speaking locals, and I've met a lot of English-speaking people that grew up in villages like this all over Russia. This village was built up after the Second World War. Massively intensive battles here. There's monuments everywhere. You can dig just about anywhere on these hills and you're going to find, you know, 70-year-old bullets. Maybe some buttons with Nazi insignia on them. People say you find all kinds of stuff here. It's good for the soil to grow these big hostile looking weeds. They put minerals back into it. Anyway, this fenced off place here is an abandoned building, obviously. What was it? If you watch American movies and read books like are written by these vehemently anti-Soviet people like Robert Conquest and whatnot, and you believe all that, well, this must be where the commissars would hang out and drag people in to have them shipped off to the gulag because they talk bad about the government or something. Yeah, that's what you think. I think that's what it was, right? It's obviously a government building, right? Nope, not really. This was a cultural hall. Most villages had them. The Soviet Union built villages. They had certain infrastructure that they made sure and put in them. They all had for the people that lived there. This was the Hall of Culture. Cities, neighborhoods, districts had halls of cultures too. They had halls of culture for different groups of people, such as I remember in Kharkov, the neighborhood around the street named the Avenue of Heroic Tractor Factory Workers. Yes, that's the name of the street. Seems corny, but really you think about that, that was pretty nice. They have a hall of culture for the tractor factory workers. Actually, they had several because there were thousands of them. There's halls of culture in Sevastopol that I've been in. They've privatized all of them during the Ukraine days. After the Soviet Union collapsed, rich people got their hands on them somehow, probably for pennies on the dollar, and they made nice apartments and hotels out of some of them. Or in a small village like this, even though it's a tourist area, it just got boarded up and abandoned while the owner tries to decide what to do with it where they can make some money. But it was originally built to benefit the people in the neighborhood. They had lectures, they had theater groups. They could practice, the local people practice theater and had teachers to teach them how, and music. They had concerts, all kinds of events. People have good memories of the things that they did these places. Oh, you'd have to sit there and listen to some lecturer give you propaganda. Yeah, really? You don't do that in America? It's all the same. Left and right don't make any difference anymore. There's not any difference in it at all. The fake left. There's real left, which is advocates for the interests of the little people, the powerless people, the non-millionaires. But that seems to be dead in America. It's been replaced with the identity politics, and they sour everybody on it. Everybody's a neocon now, it seems like. I'm not going to go into all that. That's a can of worms, so I could be here all day. I just wanted to tell you about the cultural halls and the schools. When the Soviet Union fell apart and it became independent Ukraine, all over the place they shuttered these things. They privatized them. Private people bought them. They closed them off. They fenced them off. They sealed them. Well, that's the end of that. No more social infrastructure for you. We're going to be like the West, and you can have gangster rap and develop gopnik culture, consumer culture instead. This is a little village. There's not very much to it. I don't know what the population is. It's pretty spread out, but I'd say it's well under 1,000, probably well under 500 really. It's hard to estimate. I haven't been all over it. But they had a culture hall here, and they had their own school. We're going to go to that next. They were all shut down, shuttered, ended, because they didn't have any money anymore. Well, they didn't have money not because so much that the Soviet Union collapsed, it's that the Ukrainian political architecture stole all of it. The money, oh, they don't want to appropriate money for stuff like that. They want to put it someplace where they can get their hands on it and siphon it off to bank accounts in Tel Aviv and Cyprus. And that's what they did. That's what they did for 20 years. It's a sad tale to tell. There's a date on there, I think. I'll go look at that. I guess I'm technically trespassing, but, well, you know, there's no gate. Maybe somebody tore it down. I think it says 1951 or 54. Oh, look at that. What kind of berries those are. Somebody dumped them here. It's 1950 something. I'm going to take a look. Filming myself committing the crimes, maybe. It's a well-worn path going in. Oh, what a nice tree. Like the security fence they put up so nobody can see me in here. Yeah, a lot of that stuff works more than one way. It's like it was made entirely of brick, those columns. Oh, 1958. Yeah. The Hall of Culture. It's bigger than it looks too, because it goes way back there. When you get back away from it, you can see the back half of the building's collapsed. The roof is half gone. Well, I'm not going to go traipsing around inside it. I have been told it's private property. Even though I'm a bit judgy on somebody buying something like this and just sealing it off and not doing anything with it and letting it disintegrate. Who knows? Maybe they got great plans to do something beneficial for the community. Yeah, well, it's possible. You can always hope. see what kind of view I got from the top of this hill. Looks like it was built out of bigger blocks, the main building. Yeah, there they are, where the plaster's fallen off. They just used fired brick for the columns. The Hall of Culture. I guess it'd be kind of the equivalent to a community hall in the US. Who can have venues, who can have activities in a community hall controlled by your local government? Do they let anybody come in and do stuff? Probably not. It's ideologically driven. Yeah, it goes way back here. There's a lighthouse back there. Where'd it go? Oh. It's an old lighthouse. Again with the ships. Look at all the ships going into Mariopol. In the news, they're building, I think, slated 1,200 five-story apartment buildings that are be given free to people in Mariupol that had their houses destroyed. Russia's doing that. Free. They're free. Ukraine stole everything and locked everything up and let it disintegrate. Russia did forcibly take it back from actual Nazis who are actually using human shields and actually bombing buildings that they left and saying Russia did it. But, you know, maybe you believe them. People believe that. There's nothing I can do for them. Look at all those ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're on the downside of the bridge. Those are all pointing toward Mariopol. Oh, it's not private businesses building those apartments either. It's the military construction battalions. Well, there's your socialism. Help. It's a lovely little church there that they rebuilt after the war. They're pretty proud of that. There's big posters of it everywhere and giving the history of it. It's very nice. I don't know, there might be a couple thousand people because there's just little enclaves like this. There's just little pockets between the hills and the village. You have to get up in a high place to see. Then you probably still couldn't see all of it. All these little knobby hillocks like that. That's, I was told, some sort of water project up there that wasn't finished. I'm gonna miss this place. But yeah, Uncle Buildy is getting on the train tomorrow to go to Moscow. And then once I'm there, I will throw myself into researching the absolute cheapest flight I can find to get out of here. Probably end up in Istanbul. And once I'm there, I'll get a cheap hostel, and while I throw myself into finding the absolute cheapest way to Chicago. Anyway, that's Uncle Buildy's plans, and they're coming together slowly. This is well lighted. It has the old porcelain bulb holders there. I think that's what those are. That's what they look like from here. Those might have been for the wire insulators. Can't see from this far off. And those iron bands around the columns, those are flag holders. I can imagine in 1960, 61, she's all decked out with flags flying in all those holders and lovely little garden in front. Open to the public, free of charge. Imagine that. Well, contrary to most Americans' opinion. Soviet Union, and I've heard it from the horse's mouth from a lot of older people here. They were able to have nice things. Why did it fall apart? Was it the contradictions of the economic system? Not really. It was mostly fifth columnists doing the bidding of Western corporations and oligarchs. It's a weed, but it's pretty. Seen on the gardening sites, even American gardening sites are starting to understand the benefits of weeds. Don't weed your garden, let the weeds grow. Just keep them away from your beneficial plants so they don't sap the nutrients from them. But they put things into the soil. They contribute something. If you just grow crops over and over again in the same soil and nothing else, whatever minerals that those crops absorb are depleted, and then they don't absorb it anymore. And then you got food that doesn't have minerals. Very little nutrition. I could appreciate a weed. Not in the sense, who was it? Margaret? No, who was it? Ernest Hemingway's old buddy. Stanger? That doesn't sound right. Gertrude Stein. Yeah, Gertrude Stein. A rose is a rose is a rose. Relativism. Roses and weeds being equivalent and all that. It's just the meaning you put on it. No, I'm not talking about that. Everything has its use and everything in its place. Oh, it's a snake. I wonder what kind of snake that is. Like a chicken snake. I don't know if it was a shed skin or he got runned over. There's the school. Pretty big school. It was for this village, just for this village and the surrounding area. It got shuttered too when it went to Ukraine. It's definitely in private hands. Some sort of protected arena there. The jetty going out and the entrance. I never really noticed that. I'm always looking at the school when I go by. It's a pretty good sized school. It's about the size of my son's baby yard. Standard design. They're all built about like that too. And somebody stopped in front of it. That blue fence is surrounding a new water project they're building. That's what I was told it was going to be. Lots of building going on, lots of infrastructure. Sky was full of smoke in town today, right behind the main monument, this big pinnacle in the middle of the city. There's a lot of smoke rolling out from behind it. That's been in the news lately, smoke rolling around Kerch. A few days ago, it was in the news speculating about something getting hit or some military operation gone awry. All kinds of wild speculation from the Ukrainian Western media carousel. Nobody really could get to the bottom of it. Folks around here said it was smoke being dropped by the military in an exercise. It's near the Kerch Bridge. I saw it. I got up in the morning and rode the bus over to where I was working. And I smelled it. It smelled like wood smoke to me. But today, it's a huge amount of smoke rolling up from the backside of the hill behind the city. I got pictures of it. And I couldn't smell it. We didn't drive through it. Looked like grass fire. I asked a few people and they concurred it was probably a grass fire. Kind of that brownish looking smoke that makes. And grass fires are pretty common this time of year. Everything's dried out. Stone for sale with a phone number. That's one of the reasons I'm thinking this is private, because they say somebody bought this school. Who you buy the schools from? Probably bought it in Ukraine days, I guess. And then they just let it sit. They don't do anything with it. On the other side back there, there's a huge pile of stone. Looks like at least a couple of truckloads they dropped off. Cut stone, cut limestone, what they build things out of here a lot. And then they got the for sale, stone for sale sign scrawled on the fence with spray paint. So the owner is leasing it or letting a friend use it for a warehouse for his building materials. But they're not doing anything with the building. These buildings are really built too. It could be redone. It might be a tangle of bureaucracy in doing it, I don't know. You have to have some money to buy a place like that. You probably deal with the bureaucrats. But then again, it might have been the old regime too. This town, I'm told, used to have horrible, horrible, horrible mafia problems. They ran things and they just indiscriminately murdered a lot of people till they, I'm told, Spetsnaz came in and cleaned them out. Whether that was Ukraine or Russia, I didn't ask. I didn't think to. It was a long time ago. Probably the tail end of the Soviet Union. The people talking to me were about that age. Let me calculate real quick here. Yeah, would have been the 80s probably. But that's the school. That was the school for this village. Shuttered when plucky little Ukraine became independent and got shit of the horrible Soviet Union. And all the people that had kids in this village had to get them into town to go to school. They didn't send buses out for them. They're on their own. Young children, the kids had to ride with their parents to school every day or an older sibling. But I'd make a nice hotel in this area. Put an on-site restaurant and stores. Fix it up. Yeah, whoever owns it, who knows? Maybe they're Ukrainian and they're afraid to come back. Maybe they're here, I don't know. I just told it's private. Everything's privatized. In Ukraine, before the referendum, all the things that were privatized, they would sell investments, you know, in something like this. They'd have a big billboard. They'd get all kinds of foreigners to invest, and then all the money disappeared and it'd sit empty and nothing had happened. There's a lot of that went on in Sevastopol. A lot of huge buildings built from scratch that happened. They'd start the first floor or two and get it partway done, get all kinds of investments, and then vanish. Money would go to Cyprus or the city of London or Tel Aviv. Uncle Sugar don't mind though, because those are our bastards. What are you, a communist? Strange world. Well, that's a nice gate. And a god dog. And there's the stone. Hi. I'm just photographing you and your stone, buddy. That's a nice looking dog. It's a good guard dog too. Adios, muchachos. Oh, I'm sorry. Adios, pedo. Oh, there's more of them. You coming through the fence there, buddy? Oh, those are strays. Traffic noise. Well, let's see what else is in the news. We got the Buildy news. Buildy's saying bye-bye. 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Adios. Heading on the train. I'm all packed and ready to go. My friends are keeping my meager belongings that I don't want to take with me here. Stuff I don't need. Maybe I'll be able to come back. I don't know. She got me good. Hit me when I was down. I can't afford to fight. I should stay and get a lawyer and keep going to court and starting to untangle this stuff that she did. And I could. But I just don't have the money. If I do that, I don't have any income and I'm stuck here. Well, I got the contributions and the borrowed money. I need to go back, and who knows what'll happen. So I gotta go take my chances. I can make money in America. I can make lots of it. That's going to be what I focus on. And I have other options for coming here, I think. But it might be a few years before I can try. And who knows? U.S. economy goes off the cliff. I can survive, but it's going to be hard to make a lot of money. Unless I do something nefarious, or loot, or take over. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't always color outside the lines, but I always think about it. Got to examine all your options. Money answers all things. I'm kind of keeping a foot here. I got some people that can act as my agent, and I can put money in my bank account here. I found ways to do it. So I can secure resources over here. Turning my rapidly devaluing dollars into rubles is a pretty good idea anyway. I have a mirror card that works all over post-Soviet space. I think it works everywhere except the West. And the places where it works are going to be growing and increasing. I think the U.S. is going to be locked out. The rest of the world's going on. I have to fight people all the time. I mean, good people that mean well and love the truth, but they just got to hang on to their propagandized mentality that they got to stop. Somehow they got to stop China from doing what it wants in the Sea of China and the East and around their neighbors' areas. China's automatically bad, right? You can't have Chinese influence in Afghanistan. They're going to pay those Hajis for the lithium and the rare earth minerals. Can't have that. Uncle Sugar wanted to take it, and then Uncle Sugar did take it for free. That's what Uncle Sugar do. I've talked to witnesses. Lots of other people have too. Anyway, they're deceiving people into thinking that the rest of the world is full of barbarous, warmongering savages that take over sweet little innocent places like Ukraine and get you to fight for them and get you to finance it. And they steal money left and right, recirculate it, get rid of old weapons, get to study how they work, get to study their effects, come up with new ones, and you're paying for all of it. And they tell you, China's got to be contained. We have to break up and contain Russia. They don't have to do any of that. China and Russia have always dealt squarely with people. They do what they said they're going to do. They pay people. They make deals. Well, the U.S. has got to stop all that because the U.S. can't stand fair play and competition. I sound like a horrible leftist anti-American, but I can back up everything I say. If you want to debate little bits and pieces of it or every single point, I can bury you with facts. And you got nothing but rhetoric. They always hit me with the rhetoric. One guy recently posted the U.S. program toward China is just fine because all those Marines and all those brave greatest generation people were over there in the South Pacific spilling their blood to liberate those poor little places, and now we can't let China oppress them. So what you really mean is you can't let them do business with China on their own terms. What a stupid reason. What the hell is wrong with people? This is really bad rhetoric. It took 8 years of sanctions and blockades and theft and belligerence to get the Japanese to attack Pearl Harbor, and then said it was a sneak attack. And then, well, the Japanese weren't very nice to those people in those little islands out there, were they? That was the Japanese, not the Chinese. Japanese are out there, alright? Well, the wind's getting tough now. The sound's going to have a problem now with this wind. I have to roll this up. There's a lot of properties that look pretty abandoned here. But I'm told there's a lock on everything. I mean, you can't buy anything around here. I would like to. I like this area. A lot of them are people that fled to Ukraine when after the referendum. It's not because they were scared of being oppressed by Russians. It's mostly because a lot of them were, you know, bureaucrats that were criminals. What the U.S. hears in from the diaspora and the expats from Russia and surrounding countries, it's carefully vetted. I've got plenty of proof of it. I'm going to tell a little story. I'm not going to do it now. This is going to run too long. But I ran into a filmmaker that was making a film about something entirely different when they discovered how the network works. Somebody comes over here and defects from the Soviet Union, or excuse me, somebody came over here and defected from the Soviet Union. They get debriefed by the CIA. And it doesn't matter if they're in America or Canada or anywhere else they go to, the CIA wants to talk to them. They cut deals. We'll make sure you're successful. We'll get you a job, give you English lessons, set you all up. But you got to play ball. You're going to say this, this, and this. And that's where your information comes from. See, he just came from the Soviet Union. Yeah, they're doing this, this, and this. The filmmaker that I knew, she stumbled into this quite by accident. There's a Soviet sailor that jumped off of a ship during a storm when it was driven real close to the Canadian coast, BC I think, in early 70s. And he was on tour with an American evangelist telling about how horrifying it was in the Soviet Union, claiming he was a KGB cadet, and they go around beating up people for being Christians and everything. You know, all the standard talking points. And the guy wrote a book. He couldn't even hardly speak English, but he wrote a book. And it had all the CIA talking points about the horrifying Soviet Union in it. I think the book was called Forgive Me, Natasha. Some poor Christian girl that he beat up when he was a KGB cadet. Anyway, this girl, after the Soviet Union broke up, she was enthralled by this book, and it really changed her life. And she wanted to go to his village and interview people because he's dead. He ended up killing himself, getting drunk and killing himself. Gee, I wonder why he did that. I knew a lot of freak shows that were taken on by evangelists and bandied about from the outlaw biker world. Kind of the same thing. They drew in revenue, they got donations, And I know 2 of them that killed themselves. It's a dirty business. You're lying for a living in front of God, really. Doing this church thing and changing people's lives and things like that. Everything you're saying is lies. Anyway, she went to his village and found out the truth. And then she went to interview the preacher that was his handler. And it's just real interesting. Unfortunately, some of the best documentaries I've seen with this kind of information are behind a paywall. You don't get to see it unless you buy it. I'll check again. It's been a few years. See if it's been released. But I screened it with a room full of Russians, Russian expats, and they had the syndrome, man. They hate Russia. They hate Russian culture. They sit there watching that movie and they were just fuming. Most of them were women, old Karens, and they said, why you show ugly village in Siberia where everybody's drunk? Why not you show good stuff? Russia has beautiful cities. Why didn't you show that? Well, that wasn't what the freaking movie was about, you stupid ass. Holy crap, I couldn't believe it. Anyway. Well, I hope this audio's coming through. This wind's getting pretty intense. Or the noise is getting pretty intense. I'm going to shut it off now. I'm going to go in the store and buy something to drink. Well, no, I won't. I'm going to go down to the dumpster. They built this nice dumpster down here, brand new. A guard to keep the dogs out. Doesn't keep the cats out, though. Matter of fact, it doesn't even keep dogs out that leap. Lots of dogs can leap that high. Everything's so well kept in this village, except of course for the empty buildings. They have bad laws on the books concerning that too. If a property is abandoned, completely abandoned, nobody does any paperwork on it, I think they have a little tax to pay. I don't know if it's annual or a one-time thing, but they're not paying anything. There's no utilities. It's totally neglected. It gets declared abandoned, I guess, by the government, which is quite a process. And then after that, I'm told they got to wait 50 years before it can be sold. 5 decades before it can change hands. So you never get rid of these abandoned buildings. There's a few of them around here that are still usable. Look like they've been empty for at least 20 or 30 years. But you can't touch them because of this stupid freaking law. Yeah, private property above all else, right, baby? Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, there's an old store around the corner down there. It looks like a real nice building to do something with. But, nope, it's locked up. Legally locked up. Nobody can buy it. Little playground. Let's go down to this monument. I've gone past this every day and I've never really checked it out. Little electrical infrastructure. Laugh if you must. You got really nice infrastructure in America, but it looks like it's all going to be turned off pretty soon. This will still be working. Just saying. And I'm going back. Oh man, I don't want to go back. Really, really, really don't want to go. Every time I land, I feel like I'm on an alien planet with all these monsters and freaks. Oh, this is nice. Wonder what's the deal with the Astroturf. It might have used to have been a fountain or a pool. I don't know. Interesting. I don't know what these kids think I'm pointing the camera at them. Yeah, it might have been a big flower bed and somebody got lazy. I don't know. The Astroturf is kind of, I don't know. I'm sorry, tacky. And it takes a lot of effort to do a garden. Church, 1942 through 44. Oh yeah, look at that. Photographs of yeah, 27 million people in World War II. Do they not count? You got to go spend good blood after bad to attack China for having influence in the Sea of China, right? Well, other countries had people skin in the game. Hello. These little kids speaking English at me. Oh, the lighting is just awful. I can't do anything. The sun's behind it. Yeah, I think this is originally a flower garden. Well, if they had a cultural house of culture here, people can organize something where they take care of it. I'm sure there's some organizing force in this village, but who knows, they might not be. What happened? Why did they shut all that stuff off? Well, greed and lethargy and wanting to westernize. But then behind it you can read into it, you know, the master plan of the oligarchs. They get carried away with that stuff too. A lot of stuff is just allowed to happen, but it serves their interest to atomize people, make people forget how to organize and get together and get things done. You got to relearn that. These people need to relearn it. There's a lot of things that could really go a lot better for them if they did. I think they will. I think Russia's into that. The U.S. needs to learn how to do it again, like they used to. Civic groups, organization. A lot of things could be improved. You could have nice things again, but you'd be doing it on your own with durable, non-fragile systems instead of stuff filtered down to you through corporations that you don't control, to try to shove the more and more and more degenerate and weak and twisted and perverse things down your throat. Yeah, I like that. That's a good note to end on, and so it ends, and I will end it. Uncle Buildy signing out. Oh, I'll check my identity here again. Yes, it's me. Got to do a little OPSEC, yeah. Make sure no imposters horn in on me. It's a nice little ditch here with some cane in it. Uncle Buildy signing out.